this weekend, I want to try to make a what I ate in a day video, but instead of going through what I typically eat in a day, which honestly isn't the most healthy stuff, I want to try some healthy recipes from a cookbook that was made by a couple of runners who ran together at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, one of whom went on to compete at 4 Olympic Games, winning a silver medal in the 10K, and also winning the New York City Marathon in 2017. So the cookbook that I'm talking about is Run Fast, Cook Fast, Eat Slow by Shalane and Elyse. Now, I was able to pick up this signed copy a couple years ago when Shalane and Elyse were both in the Bay Area promoting their book and going on fun runs with people. So, back then I was super excited about having some signed memorabilia from a running legend, but I didn't really care about having this cookbook to try recipes out of. But, better late than never. What I want to do this weekend is try to make a bunch of the recipes in here. And tomorrow, which is Sunday, I will only eat meals that are prepared out of this cookbook. I'll give my honest feedback as a below average cook on the preparation effort and the taste of these recipes. And I'll also report back on how these make me feel during my workouts, whether I feel any different based off of the different fuel that I'm putting into my body. So I'm really excited to crack this thing open, try some of the recipes, and hopefully expand my cooking horizons. But first, we need to go get some of these ingredients because I definitely don't have everything in here. So let's do that first. Alright, so now that I have all of my ingredients, I want to start off by making the lemon hazelnut cookies. Fun fact, it was actually really hard to track down hazelnuts for the hazelnut meal that goes into this recipe. Managed to find them at a boutique market after searching around 2 other big box grocery stores. Anyways, it's still Saturday at this point, and I want to prep some of the dishes so that I'm not cooking all 8 things tomorrow because that would just be painful. A couple other quick side notes. For each thing I'm making, I'll show the ingredients and some clips around my cooking process, but if you're interested in actually making these dishes yourself, I encourage you to get a copy of Run Fast, Cook Fast, Eat Slow. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll also reflect and give my final ratings after all the cooking and eating is done, so for now, we can all just enjoy being in the present, even though I guess this technically happened in the past. Okay, so it's still Saturday night, but right after making the lemon hazelnut cookies, I'm on to making the apple carrot superhero muffins. The kind of cool thing, at least in my opinion, about these first 2 recipes is that instead of going to the grocery store and buying almond flour or hazelnut flour, you can get the actual nuts and then throw them into the food processor and make the flour yourself. Fun fact about the superhero muffins, Shalane and Elyse had to release the original recipe in their 2016 cookbook, Run Fast, Eat Slow, and it was such a fan favorite that they decided to update the recipe, cutting out some of the ingredients while maintaining quality and taste in their latest cookbook, which I'm using, which was published in 2018. Alright, finishing off my Saturday night cooking spree with the purple cabbage slaw. Now this dish is going to go in the refrigerator and be served chilled as a side for my slow cooker pulled chicken dish that I'm having for dinner tomorrow. I should note that I chose the dishes that I'm making based off of a sample meal plan that Shalane had put in the book. I just switched around some recipes with others in the cookbook based on what sounded the best to me. So, there you go. I just wrapped up cooking the cookies, the muffins, miso butter, and cabbage slaw. I'm pretty beat after that. I started around 8 p.m. and right now it's 11. So it took a while, but I wasn't 100% efficient and I had to wash a lot of dishes in between like prepping stuff. So anyways, I'm pretty tired. That was a lot of work, especially for someone who isn't used to cooking a lot. I usually either cook stuff that's really easy or I tag team doing the prep and cook with my girlfriend, and that makes it go a lot faster. But doing it all solo was a lot of work. But I taste tested a couple of the items and I think they came out pretty well. I'm excited for tomorrow's meals and getting to dig a little deeper into the muffins and cookies that I made, because those turned out, I think, pretty well. It is now Sunday and I'm starting it off by making the oatmeal banana pancakes. Now, pancakes are one of my favorite breakfast foods, so even though I'm super tired, I'm excited to make these. So I've got my morning coffee, I've prepared the oatmeal pancake batter, and it's sitting there resting for a little bit. I'm pretty hungry at this point, so I'm gonna dig into one of the muffins, which I tried yesterday and were pretty good, and I'm about to eat another one, I guess. So I'm already a fan of these. They're a bit crumbly. Actually, they're now kind of sealed together, so maybe they weren't quite set when I ate them yesterday. These have like carrot and apple in them, oats, some nuts as well, so yeah, I think I needed that. Honestly, I was getting a bit frustrated making the pancakes, so I'm gonna finish the coffee, finish this, and then Alright, so just finished the pancakes and the coffee. It was really good, but because I took so long cooking, it's basically almost lunchtime now. So I'm gonna go out and get a run in soon once I finish digesting a little bit and drink a little more water, and then I'll prep the next thing. So yeah, cooking is tough, but we'll get there. Alright, so scratch that, not gonna do the run. The air quality right now in San Francisco is not great. There's a bunch of fires going on, so we're gonna keep it inside, go step into my pain cave and do some indoor cycling for a bit. So I'll get some good clips of that. Before hopping on the bike, I figured I'd make the sports drink so that I could have something to keep me hydrated while I'm sweating profusely. Alright, here's my pain cave. It's a mess, but I'll do the job. Got done with an hour and a half on the bike. Time to eat the Thai quinoa salad thing. To be honest, I was pretty intimidated by the Thai quinoa salad because of the sheer number of ingredients that are involved. But luckily, you can throw almost all of the vegetables into the food processor and just hit pulse, and you have everything chopped up and ready to go. Finished cooking this Thai quinoa salad. Again, took a while, but now I have leftovers for days, and hopefully it tastes good because I have a ton of it left. Yeah, it smells really good, so I'm looking forward to trying it. I also refilled on the sports drink. While I was waiting for this to chill in the refrigerator, I also re-prepped the cabbage salad thing that's gonna go on the chicken dish that I'm gonna make for dinner in probably a few hours. So here we go, first time tasting the Thai quinoa salad. Okay, I think it's decent and a nice healthy midday meal. So. Okay, so a couple short hours after eating the Thai quinoa salad, it's time to make my dinner. First thing that I'm preparing is the slow cooker pulled chicken. Apparently it takes 5 to 8 hours to cook the chicken properly using a slow cooker. I'm not trying to wait around like that, so I opted to use the Instant Pot. And I'm glad I did because this thing cooked it in 20 minutes. And just like that, we're on to the final dish that I need to cook. Luckily, these miso fast greens are pretty easy. Okay, it's Wednesday now. At this point, I've had a couple days to digest not only my food, but also my thoughts around this challenge. At this point, I want to summarize my thoughts around each of the dishes. Coincidentally, I actually found out about this tier ranking system that's been gaining popularity recently. And so I want to use that as a framework for kind of benchmarking the different dishes based off of two primary factors that I mentioned before. First, the preparation effort, and then second, taste. So with that, let's get right into it. We are now live. As you'll see at the bottom of the screen, I have photos of all the dishes in the order that I ate them. And then going along vertically, I have the rankings, S being the highest and best rating, F being the lowest. So we'll just start off with the apple carrot muffins. And I'm gonna put those at the S tier. They weren't that difficult to make, and they turned out to be a great breakfast food, great snack throughout the day, and I've just really been enjoying them the past few days. Next, we have the banana pancakes, the oatmeal banana pancakes. These were honestly a bit challenging to make, especially first thing in the morning, right after I got up and before the morning coffee kicked in. In terms of taste, they were really good. They're not, the traditional fluffy type of pancake that you would get at a diner, but they felt really healthy with all the oats and stuff. They felt dense and filling, and so I think it helped out with my workout as well. I'm gonna put that at the S tier. I think that was definitely one of my favorite dishes. Okay, so next up we have Shalane's natural sports drink. This one, in terms of preparation, was super easy to make because you just threw in a handful of ingredients into a bottle, shook it up, and it was ready to go. But in terms of taste, I can't say that this was my favorite. It's probably one of the lowest ranking things on my list. Although it wasn't terrible, and it's not like I didn't like it at all, maybe it was something to do with the salts or the tart cherry juice or the molasses, something in there that I wasn't really used to. Made it kind of taste like tomato juice when I wasn't expecting it. So I'm gonna put that at the C tier. Although I will say, similar to the pancakes, I do think that this helped kind of fuel me for my workout. All right, next up, what I had for lunch is the Thai quinoa salad. My first impressions of this dish were not fantastic, although over the past couple days I've come to realize that this is really good as a side to something. So I've been eating it with my chicken leftovers, and I'll talk about the chicken in a second, but this dish has really grown on me over the past few days. And in terms of preparation, I was really intimidated at first, just given the number of ingredients that are involved, but it really wasn't that difficult once I used the food processor. I'm really torn between A and B. I'm going to go with B, just given kind of my first impression. Although I will say that it keeps well in the fridge, and you should pair it with some other foods. All right, the next three things are actually what I ate for dinner on the day of the challenge. The first element of that dinner is the slow cooker pulled chicken. This one was actually not too bad to prepare. Most of the stuff just went right into the Instant Pot. Instead of taking 5 to 8 hours, it took 20 minutes. This wasn't bad at all. And the taste turned out pretty well. It had a nice kick to it. It's the only thing that really had meat in it, I guess. So I'm gonna put this at A tier because I also ate this for leftovers over the past couple days, and it's been really good. Next up, we have the miso fast greens, the kale dish. This was also pretty easy to make. I think in terms of taste, where it might have gone a little wrong is the miso butter. I might have just put in a little too much, making it a bit too salty for my own personal taste. So next time I make this, I'll probably go a little lighter on the miso butter. I'll put this one at an A. All right, the last component of that dinner is the purple cabbage slaw. This one I obviously had to make twice because it kind of spoiled the first batch. This was really good as a side, I gotta say. I was a little worried about this because like some of the ingredients sounded weird as a combination, like yogurt, cilantro, cabbage, olive oil. Those aren't things I typically think about together, but I think it turned out pretty good and I think complemented basically all of the kind of more savory dishes really well. I think it kind of balanced it out. So I'm gonna put that as an A. I think the dinner that I put together was really nice. It was filling, felt healthy, and I felt energized the next day. Okay, the last thing is the lemon hazelnut cookie. In terms of preparation, this wasn't too bad. Had to zest a lemon, which I'm not really accustomed to doing, but you know, that's not really that complicated. In terms of taste, I had high expectations for this, just given how like fragrant it was on the day that I baked it. It's got a really strong lemon scent because of the lemon zest and the lemon juice that goes into it. The texture isn't like my favorite. It's not like a normal cookie. It's kind of on the crumbly side. It felt pretty oily because of probably the coconut oil as well as kind of the oils and fats from the hazelnuts. So I wasn't like a huge fan of this, but they've been good. I still have a few and I've been munching on them, and they are filling. So I'm gonna put these at the B tier. So yeah, those are my rankings for the dishes that I made. Overall impressions. So I think first is that cooking in large quantities can be challenging, but potentially worth it. For me, it was definitely tough to cook all 8 of these dishes over the weekend, but because there were large quantities and because there was a large variety, over the last couple days I actually haven't had to cook anything. I've just been living off of the leftovers, so that's been a really big plus, and I think as I become more efficient at cooking, this will just get easier and I'll be able to kind of prep more of my meals throughout the week if I want to head in that direction. The second takeaway that I have is eating clean can actually really benefit performance. A lot of people say you don't have to focus a ton on your food, or maybe like sleep is more important than food, but I really do think that the fuel that you put into your body has an impact on your performance and your kind of mental state and all that. So it can have a lot of impacts on like various aspects of your life. As I was doing my workout on Sunday as well as the following days, I really felt like having these sorts of foods, I think that just gave me the energy that I needed to get through my workouts. My third takeaway is that I need more practice cooking. So many of the issues that I ran into revolved around not knowing what the right piece of equipment is and not knowing the best way to use the equipment that I had at my disposal. Building that familiarity, I think, is key to becoming more efficient in the kitchen and making it a lot less of a chore that you need to do, and I think might make the process even enjoyable at a certain point. Alright, that is it. That wraps up my experience trying to eat like an Olympic marathon runner for a day, taking some recipes out of Run Fast, Cook Fast, Eat Slow. This turned out to be a super long video, so if you're still watching, thanks so much, and if you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks.